It's a great day. Welcome to the Happy Entrepreneur Show, the number one business development and revenue focused late night show in the country where we are on a mission. And our mission really is to inspire, our mission is to empower, and our mission at the end of the day is to provide you, that's right, you, the hard working entrepreneur with all of the resources that are necessary to execute that big vision you have for the people you were called to serve. In this episode, we have the one and only Charlette. She's in the building, and she'll be talking about how your story can transform lives. Is that even possible? We'll figure it out. What's going on, Charlette? How you doing?
I am phenomenal. How are you? Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much for being on the show. And thank you to viewers. Thank you for tuning in and inviting us into your home. We appreciate it. You can spend this time a lot of places and you choose to spend it with us. So thank you so much. Before we get started about how your story can impact lives, I've got a question. Maybe I'm the only one. Why do so many entrepreneurs and leaders feel so afraid to share their story these days when you say it can change lives? What's holding them back?
I think just like myself, I was that person who, like, who's going to listen to me or what I have to say? And sometimes people think that the experts are people that are celebrities or that have written a book and not realizing they normal people. They just got there because they had the belief and faith in themselves to share their story or to use their gifts and talents. And so I think it's them believing in themselves and knowing who they are and their story, that the things that they've been through do matter.
Now, you really do believe this, and I'm curious, why do you believe that everyone has a story that can heal or make someone else's life better?
I really believe it because I was in a little rough spot one day and I had all the books on my shelf. I don't know if you can see my bookshelf back there. And my mom passed and there was a book on the shelf. And I was praying for an answer and I needed an answer. Like I needed an answer. And this book was out of place on the shelf. Been there for 4 years and it was out of place this particular day. And I picked it up and I got the victory that night. I read the whole book that night. That person experienced exact same experience that I was having to where I couldn't sleep, I couldn't eat, I couldn't tell my ex-husband my husband at the time what was going on with me in my mind. And I got the victory that night. And instantly I started something called Victory TV, sharing with authors, working with authors who have written a story because I was an author at the time. And I knew that book, I'm just one person, but that book, somebody else need to hear that story. But guess what? Other people have written a book that can change somebody's life. So imagine all these stories transforming somebody's life, like literally getting a victory. So I'm convinced that somebody has a story that they need to hear. And that wasn't like a well-known author who written that book. It was just a person that I ran across and I got a book and
I
I got
love
the victory.
that. That is spot on. And as you were saying that, thanks for being transparent and so open. It made me think of myself. I mean, I'm probably alone, by the way. Maybe I'm the only one that feels that my story isn't big enough to really impact lives. So I guess the question is, what do you say to the entrepreneur who feel their story isn't big enough to really impact lives? Like, my story ain't all that big. I mean, I just went through a little something over here. What do you say to that person that's watching right now?
I would say, yeah, somebody else probably went through the exact same story, or has that same exact story as you, but that they blew up off of it. So, me, teenage mother, I didn't want to share my story. It wasn't until 2 years ago. I've been an author all this time, and I wasn't sharing my story, but until I got into a pitch competition, and the pitch competition is where I work with teen authors, speakers, and entrepreneurs. And the trainer of the program, she was like, "Tell your story, tell your story." I'm leaving that part out about the teenage mothers because there's a lot of teenage mothers, and I know a lot of teenage mothers who are multimillionaires, and I'm not a millionaire. I would say there's an audience for you. And here's the thing: we have communities, we have regions, we have states, we have the nation, we have two, you can go to two continents, three continents, seven continents. There's somebody for you. And guess what? Um, you got to be able to reach them, you know. So I would say think of that one person that could your story could help, and it can help that one person. You just looking for that one. And don't think about the masses, or even when I got started, when I did my first interview, I'm like, oh, this may blow up. I don't want it to blow up. But what I thought about in my mind was that one person who felt like giving up like I did. I want to help that person.
A heart to give and a heart to serve. Let's slow down for a moment, because some folks, as famous as you are and as many books as you have back there and all the stories you tell, they just don't know who you are. You're getting a peek in the window. And so someone's in the kitchen right now, as I like to say, they're cooking dinner, and like, whoa, Shay, she might be related to me. I heard her peek a few things. She dropped a few gems in there. Someone else right now is driving in the car. Thank you so much, by the way. If you listen to us on the podcast, or if we're on your big screen TV, hey, we appreciate you. Take a moment and tell them, who are you? What's the backstory? And then what was that defining moment where you said, I'm going to step into owning, helping other people really share their story?
Yeah, I am Charlette. I am known in the creative space as the Victory Queen, providing victory strategies so others can win in life. I'm called to the youth, I'm called to women, and I'm called to business leaders who are looking to impact other people. Why those people? Because those are the people who are in leadership, right? And they may not always um, can go to someone to share their I'm not the best, or I don't have it all together, because they're the people who's following them look at them like they should have it all together. So I'm that person. I'm that safe place to where a person can come and say, hey, I don't have this part together. I'm leading these people back here, and I need a winning strategy. And my thing is, to know, to reassure them that they already have the victory, and they do. We really do. And that's a whole nother story of how, if you want to know how you got the victory, I can share that with you at a later time. But we already have the victory. And what we're doing is we're walking it out. Just because you don't see the victory today doesn't mean that it's not here. No, you have it. You have to transform it up here. I have the victory. I'm just walking it out. So it's funny because I believe in affirmations. And I was again in another situation. We have situations in life that we're growing and elevating. And I spoke something, and I didn't really know what I was speaking. I just knew that I didn't want to be chaotic in my mind, right? And I was speaking, I am out now. I'm out of depression. I'm out of anxiety. I know the direction I'm headed. I'm headed towards my destiny. Matter of fact, I'm living in my destiny now. And I just kept saying it over and over and over. And next thing you know, I'm like, I'm out. It was just one day and I was out. I had positive thoughts. I loved myself. I was feeling great. And I'm like, wow, I'm out of that season. And so affirmations definitely do work. Looking in the mirror and telling yourself I am great, I am enough, that it sounds, you know cliche, like everybody said. No, that's where it starts, the internal dialogue and being your own best friend, in order to elevate your mind, your life, and reprogram. That's the key, the reprogramming for the transformation. And so that's what I did. And so I just use tools that I have I'm sorry, I just use tools that I use in my own life, from my health, from raising my sons, to business. So my latest book, it's called This Is It. And I talk about how those areas you can transform your life too. So it's a strategy book so others can transform their lives.
Charlotte, I love it, but I love it, by the way. And I guess I'm curious, as you were speaking, how can entrepreneurs, and we'll get into a moment, ladies and gentlemen, maybe one, two, or three things you can do on how to position your story or how to start your story. We'll get into that in a moment. But I'm curious, how can entrepreneurs share their story uh, for their business and still feel they're in a safe spot? I mean, so they don't share too much. Is there too much you share and you get into this part where it's kind of unsafe? So I guess the question, and again, it might be unfair because people are different places and different spaces, but here's the question. How can we as entrepreneurs really share our story as full as we can and still feel safe, that we didn't do too much to
Mhm.
not make us not look too good. Is there such a thing?
Yes, I know exactly what you mean. And I like to say be tuned in with self. There's certain rooms, you go in and it's like, think of it like a tree. Like you are a tree, and a tree has roots, and those roots are underground, and you don't really want to show all that, right? You don't want to show all the roots, that the stuff that made you you, but then you have the bark of the tree, and then you have the limbs, and then there's fruit. That's what people see, all the good apples, and that's on the tree, and they red and they pretty. That's what the people see. But you can talk about that, the bark part, that core of you. And so I like to look at it like that. And sometimes I like to talk about, how the roots is um on in the ground, and some of the roots are sticking up. That's a little bit of the stories that I like to share, like in rooms where there's no camera, right? And depending on the audience, every audience is different. Then I like to share. So I would like to say be tuned in, tapped into self, and then you'll know what you need to share in those spaces. And I think you asked something else. What was that?
Yeah, I just want to make sure that we could be in a safe place, because sometimes I feel like, and maybe just me, I'm listening to some people's story, and I feel like there's so much into the story. I'm like, man, they're still going through all that, and maybe it's just me sometimes when I'm listening. So I just want to know, is there too much that we share sometime, and how can we make sure as we're sharing our story, we're still in a safe space with the audience?
When you are, when you can tell your story when it's not making you cry, I feel like you can share when you feel comfortable and not vulnerable. I was
Ah,
still
good
vulnerable.
point.
I was still vulnerable to share that I was a teenage mother, because everybody else is a teenage mother too. Why do I need to share that? It was vulnerable. I didn't know it was at the time until again, the director of the program was sharing with me, no, share your story. And I knew what that meant when she said it. She didn't say what my story was. She was just telling me. And so
Mhm.
the reason why I'm passionate the way I am. And so I knew what she was talking about. So
I
yeah,
love that.
that's what it. Mhm.
I love that because I used to not want to tell the story myself. I mean, going through bankruptcy and things that I went through. I was like, man, the audience knows this about me. This little secret
Mhm.
back here. I'm in trouble. And so I'm glad you mentioned that. Now, I know you work with young students too. And don't worry, I have not forgotten, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to get into Shay. How do you tell your story? Is there a framework that she has? Is there step one, step two, step three? We're going to get to that in a minute, okay? I promise you. But she works with students. And I'm curious on, what she sees when she's working with a student who finally lights up and says, I should tell my story. How do you feel? What do you see when because you work with students and these are the young folks who have to share their story as well?
Well, if you can remember when you was 17, 16, and 15,
No, I can't. I
you
can't remember at
probably
all. I can't remember. I'm only 21 right now, so but I can't remember back to 17 now. Okay, that's a little too much.
think way back. Think back, way back. um, we didn't know that we were valuable. Like I didn't know how valuable I was at that age. I didn't know I could teach or train per se, but we could if we had the right teacher to help us develop us. And so one summer, I had the middle school and high school kids, and
Hmm.
the middle school kids were like, "Hey," asking all these questions to the older girls, and the older girls telling them about high school, and the older girls are telling them what they're going to experience, and I let them take up the whole time, and I was like, since they think I'm old, how about let's develop them. Let's develop them into these amazing authors. So I develop a curriculum to where I outline for them to write their book, and each book got to have a message though. So one kid had a message that you're not alone. He was 11 at the time. He talked about divorce, depression, and death, right? He just had lost his brother. And then another kid said, just because you got dyslexic doesn't mean you can't write a book. Right? So they had to develop this on their own. What do you want to talk about? Another kid, he was like a yellow, he was a black African American boy, and he was probably like the color of my hand, and he had green eyes, and he was like the life of a yellow boy. Just because I am African American doesn't mean you can make fun of me, right? And that I'm just a person too. So they have something to say. And so I just want to see how many stories, can we get from these young people. So that's where my passion lies with them, because they do have something to say. So let's develop them.
And you're known as the Victory Queen, by the way. I forgot that, right? Yeah, the Victory Queen. What inspired you to really adopt that and embrace that?
Okay, so I was known as the challenger, challenging people to win, 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 no matter what. And I realized, hold up, there's no challenge. I don't have any challenges. How can I have a challenge and I already got the victory? So I don't want to walk into another space knowing that, oh, this would be a challenge. No, I already got the victory, and that's a different type of walk. And so walking in victory. So that's my workbook. It's called Walking in Victory, and that's my actually famous walk that I do in my speaking presentations when I'm out speaking. I'm speaking this Thursday, as a matter of fact, and it's requested. It's highly requested. Walking in victory. Come on, let's do it. Let's walk it out now. If you wasn't walking in victory before you came to this late night show, we finna do it right now. Let's go ahead and walk it out right now. It's the action steps towards whatever you said that you want that victory in. You got to start now. Not when you get home, because it's not going to feel like anything's changed. You want to start
Hmm.
feeling like the change is already happening.
I love it, but I love it. I love the energy. You get so excited. I mean, okay, ladies and gentlemen, I have not forgot the question, but I've got to ask her, what do you enjoy most about what you're doing now? I mean, you kind of light up when you're talking about stories and how to tell stories. In a minute, she's going to give you step one, step two, step three, so you can at least walk away from here with at least a framework, and she'll tell you how to connect with her on how you can tell your story, so you have something to start with. But what do you enjoy most about what you're doing these days? You seem to be really having a lot of fun.
Well, yeah, it's fun giving people hope. It's fun knowing that you can transform your life. My life is, I'm a walking transformation, and it's just fun doing what I do. So it's not really work. It's just love. Actually, it's pure love and energy. Yeah, like you said, I know that whoever I'm talking to, if they looking at this, that your life can transform. This is not it for you, and you can, all you gotta do is walk it out. And how do you walk it out? You know what you don't want, right? So whatever the opposite of that is, that's what you want, and you walk towards that. But if you know what you want, okay, you walk towards that and don't go nowhere else. If I'm walking to the store, I'm not going to walk to the store and pick up Mount Dew because I don't drink Mount Dew, right? I'm going to go and get what I want. So that's how you will walk it out. Go get what you want. And you already got the victory. As you're walking, as long as you don't stop, you're going to get there. And that's victory.
Mm. This is a good point for us to maybe do a little teaching. A number of folks are listening, and one thing I do know about myself, and maybe many of you like that, we never stop learning. When the question is asked, when do you stop learning? You never stop learning. So I'm going to ask Charlette if she'll take a moment, and it's a big task, but to share maybe 3 steps. And you might say, Shay, how do I tell my story? Well, she'll hopefully give you a framework. There's step one and step two and step three. And I'm going to ask if she'll do that. So lean in. It's a good opportunity for you to get not better at what you're doing, or maybe use it more. And we don't only do it this way, but this will change your life. And I do believe what she says here. Your story not only will transform someone else's life, it'll also help you as well. So you have the question already. Can you give them 3 steps or 3 ways, or maybe it's 4 ways, I don't know, that they can tell their story, so those that have been thinking about it can now get a paper and pencil and write it down?
Hey, yes. Step one, you guys, know your target audience. So write that down. And if you say everybody, I want you to scratch that out. Everybody, yes, I know it sounds good. I know you want to reach everybody, but everybody cannot be your target audience. You got to niche it down, narrow it down. So for myself, I started with adults, right? And then it spread on into the um the youth, right? So but you got to start somewhere. So I started with women. That was my target audience. And so find that out. Who are you fit to talk to? Who are you for to share your story with? And then number two, you know your story. You are the person that know your story. So what parts of your story that you want to talk about? What is one thing from your story that is like the main thing, and that's what you want to share. That thing that you share, you already have to have the victory in it. It's not, this is something that I can't tell somebody how to be a bodybuilder. Oh, I can tell them, but they will they listen to me because I'm not a body builder, but I know how to be one. You got to do this, you got to eat right, you got to exercise, all those things. No, you got to already have mastered it. So what is something in your life that you have already mastered, right? Of your story. And then three, are you listening?
We're
Part three
listening.
is, thank you. Part three is you want to make sure that you have a strategy for the person to overcome whatever that is. So that's how I like to look at it. And for business owners, if you're a business owner, if you're a believer, or if you are a coach, you got to have strategy steps for the person to win, right? So I always think of the story as a win, right? So you want that person to get the victory, not just read the book, oh, you telling your story, but how
Hmm.
can they have a strategy to overcome? And I've heard some stories where I was like, it just took my breath away. I have never been through anything like that story, making my story seem small. Like you was sharing earlier, your story don't seem as big, but this person's story is like it takes my breath away. But that's why we all share our story, because we don't know who is on the edge. I think about the person who was on the edge, like me, want to give up, but then I heard a voice in my ear that said, "If you can look up, you can get up." And guess who said that? Or somebody who have a book. He's very popular. He's a speaker. What if he never would have told his story? What if he felt like, oh, who's going to listen to me? So that's what I think about other greats who have came along and shared their story. So think of it that way. You are somebody. That's you here, you're breathing, right? And think of sharing to help that one person. Hopefully that help you.
That is perfect, by the way, spot on. And one question I love to ask when I have a few minutes, I got a few minutes now, is what's one of the best pieces of advice that's ever been given to you? I know you had a lot of mentors along this journey of life. You've written books, you've read books, you've heard stories, you told stories. You've watched probably more videos you can remember these days, and with social media, I mean, you can do 10,000 hours on the weekend scrolling. So I guess my question is, what's one of the best pieces of advice you've ever been given that you'd want to share with the audience?
Okay. Change is hard because we overestimate what we have and underestimate what we may gain by giving that up. And I heard that around 2014. And I would say that is the biggest advice. Change is hard because we overestimate what we have and underestimate what we may gain by giving that up.
And what does success look like for you these days? What does it
You
feel
know,
like?
the real success for me right now, it's funny because it has changed because I was in a
Yeah,
season, right? And I
yeah.
thought success was at that particular time, I needed a whole lot of money to get out of the situation. And right now is staying in the kingdom to be in the flow, because the money can go like that. But if I'm still living and breathing, and in the kingdom, I can actually I have everything already. So I can honestly say that my family, my faith, my fitness, my fun life is all in a abundant place. When you get to say that, because you understand where you're centered, I have everything. I have everything. You can say you have everything, and an abundant life. That would be success for me. And I was doing that before I was actually in that place, in the reality world, in the physical space. So now when it's here, again, my three sons, my baby is 18. So I'm like, I've been a mom all my life, and all I wanted to do is be a great mom. And so now things have shifted to where the peace, love, joy, all of those things are here. And so it's a wonderful place to be in. And I just want to stay in that flow. I don't want to take control because I can go run and go get the money, but I know that's not going to solve all my problems. So let me stay in the flow and do the work that I'm supposed to do. And that's all I want to do. That is success.
Well, the good news is you've been a great mom, and you'll just be a better mom as life goes on. That's pretty incredible. And your story certainly is heartwarming. It touches many of us out there. What do you do for fun when you're not out saving the world? We're not out making a difference for other folks. We're not out writing books. We're not trying to be a great mom and a great teacher and the victory queen and all the things that you are. Well, I guess the question is, what does fun look like for you these days?
So it's funny. And I'm gonna go say this because I don't know who's watching. Because I was like, if I go on a dating show, that I would say this. Let them know all I like fun. But no, I really like walks. I like to read. That's the fun, boring side. But I like to travel. I like to see new things. That I think that's the key. I like to see new things and yeah, just have fun. What else I like to do for fun? Swimming, road trips. I love road trips. Yeah, so that's what I like to do for fun. And this is good
Cool. Well,
practice for me,
thanks for all
right?
that you're doing. Thanks for telling your story. Thanks for being so transparent. As we come down the home stretch, a two-part question, because I know we got to meet through the one and only Dr. Nicole Johnson, who's amazing, by the way. But two-part question. Number one, what type of clients is your firm looking to work with these days, if any? Because I'm not sure if you're taking on any clients. And number two, how can folks connect with you if they want to stay in this conversation over and beyond the time that you and I have now? Should they go to a website? Like, what should they do?
Yeah, you guys can go to www.victoryqueen.com. You can reach out to me on Instagram, LinkedIn. I'm on LinkedIn. I'm Charlette White. On Instagram, I am the Victory Queen over there. And so, yeah, reach out to me. And I'm looking to work with people who are in the school, college arenas. I'm looking forward to work with partnership with the school districts. If you want your teens to write a book and be self-published on Amazon, and if you're a college professor, look, I'm here to serve your students, and I have a new book coming out just for those people who are college kids, so they can lead themselves to victory. So those are the people I'm looking to partner with, and I'm pretty sure that you guys will get great benefit from that.
Well, let me say thanks so much for being on the Happy Entrepreneur Show. We appreciate it. Thanks for being authentic and sharing your message with our community.
Thank you for having me, and thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you.
Yes, and thank you. Thank you so much. Once again, I'll never get tired of reminding you every night at 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time that we appreciate you. Without you, the audience, we don't have a show. So we appreciate you showing up. We appreciate you sharing it. Appreciate all the work you're doing. And no matter what's going on in your life, whether you're doing really, really well right now and you're just going to that next level of success, or you've been hit with the punch that you never saw coming, the one thing I do believe is that today is your January 1st. You get a fresh start. You get a do-over. And because of just that one reason alone, I believe your best is still yet to come. Your best is yet to come. Your best is yet to come. With that being said, my name is Shay Brown. Thanks a lot, Charlette. Charletta. Did I get that right that time?
Yes.
Yes, Charlita. I got it. All right, finally. I've been working on that, ladies and gentlemen. We appreciate you all. We out. How'd I say? Peace, everybody. Bye-bye.